The oath takes 11 seconds. You memorize it the night before, lying on a mat in a room with 7 other boys, reciting it under your breath until the words stop meaning anything, until they're just sound, just shape in your mouth. In the morning, you stand in a column of 300. The sun hasn't risen yet. An officer walks the line, and no one moves. No one blinks wrong. You've been training for this moment since you were old enough to understand what the uniform meant. You raise your right hand, you say the words, and just like that, you belong to something much larger than you'll ever fully understand. Level 1, the conscript. You are 18 years old, and you own nothing. Your civilian clothes were folded and sealed in a brown envelope the day you arrived. You won't see them for 10 years. The Korean People's Army has a mandatory service period, and yours begins now. And the number of days between today and your discharge feels like a distance you cannot measure. Your unit is stationed 40 kilometers from Pyongyang. The barracks smell like concrete and boiled grain. You wake at 5. You run. You drill. You eat what you're given, which is never quite enough. You learn not to think about that. The hierarchy here is simple. Officers are not spoken to unless spoken to first. Senior enlisted men are given deference in all things. You, on the bottom, you understand this without being told. The structure is atmospheric. You breathe it. The political officer assigned to your company holds weekly sessions. You sit in rows and you nod and you say the right things when called upon. You've been saying the right things your whole life. This is no different. What changes you is the first time you watch a man punished. It's nothing dramatic. A soldier in your unit is caught hoarding a small portion of rice. The punishment is administered in front of the company. It is methodical, controlled. When it's over, no one speaks. Everyone looks forward. That night, you lie on your mat and you feel something settle inside you. A kind of understanding. You file it away without naming it. You learn fast. You follow orders precisely. You speak only when useful. You are quiet and capable, and you do not complain where anyone can hear you. After 18 months, a sergeant notices. Level 2, the junior NCO. Your promotion comes with a new patch and 3 additional grams of food per meal. You are now responsible for 9 men. You relay orders downward. You enforce discipline. You report upward. You exist in the middle of a chain, and you understand now that the chain is everything. The chain is the system. The system is the state. The state is the supreme leader. These are not separate things. You are 20 years old, and you have already learned to read a room the way some people read text. You know which officers are dangerous. You know which ones are performative. You know who drinks in the back building after midnight and who is connected to whom through family or region or shared history. This knowledge is your first real currency. You don't use it recklessly. You hold it. You understand instinctively that information spent too early is information wasted. Your political loyalty scores are reviewed quarterly. You are consistently rated in the top 10% of your company. This is not accidental. You know what to say in sessions. You know how to frame your answers. You know that enthusiasm must be visible, but not theatrical. Theatrical reads as performance. Performance reads as doubt. You witness your first defection attempt. A man from a neighboring unit tries to cross a restricted zone near the Chinese border. He doesn't make it 20 meters. You file your report the same evening, factual, clean. You don't sleep well for 3 days after. Then you sleep fine. Level 3, the political officer's asset. This part doesn't come with a title. A senior political officer from the Korean Workers' Party Liaison Office begins speaking with you informally, not in sessions, in hallways, after meals. He asks your opinions on other soldiers. He asks what you've noticed. He asks it casually, as if the answers don't matter. You understand immediately that the answers matter enormously. You become careful. You give him information that is true but curated. You do not invent. You do not embellish. Men who invent get caught eventually, and being caught as an informant who fabricates is worse than being caught as an informant at all. What you give him is real, small things, behavioral patterns, the soldier who mutters during political sessions, the NCO who trades food rations for favors, the officer who seems distracted when Pyongyang is mentioned. In return, you receive, not money, not yet, access, a recommendation that your file be reviewed for officer candidacy, a transfer to a unit closer to the capital, a phone call that gets made on your behalf. You understand now that the military operates on two parallel systems, the official one, which everyone can see, and this one, which no one discusses but everyone knows exists. You are now operating in both. The weight of this is real. You carry it everywhere. You trust no one fully. You maintain warmth as a surface condition, while your inner life becomes something quieter, more calculating, more self-contained. You are 23 years old, and your face has learned to show exactly what you want it to show. Level 4, the junior officer. Your commission takes 2 years of formal study at a military academy outside Pyongyang. The academy is nothing like what you imagined as a child, which means it is exactly what it is, a system designed to produce loyalty, not excellence. Tactical instruction is real, but secondary. The primary curriculum is ideological. You study the Juche philosophy in dense theoretical texts. You write papers on self-reliance and revolutionary spirit. You're evaluated not just on what you know, but on how completely you appear to believe it. You appear to believe all of it. You graduate in the top quarter of your class. You're assigned as a lieutenant to a mechanized infantry regiment. Command is different from you imagine. You expected to feel powerful. Instead, you feel exposed. Every decision you make is visible to the men below and the officers above. There is no anonymity anymore. You are accountable in every direction simultaneously. You learn to manage upward first. Your colonel is a man in his 50s who came up during a harder era. He values precision, and he values silence, and he hates excuses with a specific personal intensity. You give him none. You bring him solutions when you bring him problems. You make his life easier in small, consistent ways. Within 14 months, he begins to trust you, not personally, professionally. There's a distinction. You understand the distinction. Your first real test comes when a supply irregularity surfaces in your unit's fuel allocation records. The numbers have been skimmed, not by much, but the discrepancy is there. You spend one evening deciding what to do. You report it to your colonel directly, private, clean. He looks at you for a long moment, and then he says something you remember for years afterward. He says, "You understand how this works now. It isn't a question." Level 5, the senior officer and the inner structure. You are a major. You command 400 soldiers. You have a vehicle and an aide and a small apartment in a housing block reserved for mid-rank officers. The apartment has 2 rooms. You've seen officers at this level with far less. Your world is larger now and more complex. You attend briefings that reference events you've never seen reported, operational movements along the southern border, resource allocations that don't appear in official budgets, personnel transfers that happen without paperwork. You learn the real geography of the DPRK military, which is not the geography on any map. There are units that officially don't exist. Special Operations Forces, cyber warfare divisions, foreign intelligence assets. There are corridors of command that bypass the official chain entirely and route directly to the Supreme Leader's office through the Reconnaissance General Bureau. You are not in those corridors yet, but you can see them from where you stand. The corruption at this level is not petty, it is structural. Contracts for military construction move through a network of approved suppliers, all of which are connected to senior officers or their families. Food and fuel allocations are skimmed at the regimental level. Promotions are purchased through gifts given in the right sequence to the right people. You participate, not because you have no choice, but because participation is the proof of loyalty to the network. Refusal isn't idealism. Refusal is suspicion. Suspicion is dangerous. You give appropriate gifts at appropriate times. You receive You understand that the system is self-sustaining and that you are now a functioning part of it. What you feel about this is nothing you would say aloud. What you feel about this lives in a room inside you that you keep locked and rarely visit. At night sometimes, very briefly, you think about the boy who memorized an oath in the dark. Then you go to sleep. Level 6, the General's Circle. Your appointment to Brigadier General happens on a Tuesday. There is no ceremony. Your aide brings you a document. You sign where indicated. The document is filed. By Thursday, you are in a different building with a different office and a different view of the capital. Pyongyang from above is a city of shapes, monuments and boulevards, and the tower of the Juche idea rising against the sky. It is an engineered city, every line intentional. You understand it differently now than you did as a boy. You understand it as a message, not a place, a message that is sent outward to the world and inward to the citizens simultaneously. At this level, the political and the military merge completely. You attend party functions. You sit in rooms with men who run entire ministries. The supreme leader's image is everywhere, and the supreme leader's directives shape every conversation. But the supreme leader himself exists at a remove that is almost theological. You receive his decisions as pronouncements. You execute them without question. You have 1,200 soldiers and support personnel under your command. You have a security detail of 4 men who rotate shifts. You have enemies you can name and enemies you cannot. The ones you cannot name are more dangerous. A general from your cohort is removed from his post without explanation. He is not arrested, as far as you can tell. He is simply no longer present. His name begins to disappear from documents. Men who were close to him become careful about distance. You analyze this event the way you would analyze a military operation. You map the variables. You identify the likely cause. You adjust your behavior by small, unmeasurable degrees. You have not risen this far by being wrong. Your family lives well. Your children attend schools reserved for the families of senior officers and party officials. They know a version of you that is confident and present and warm. They do not know the other version. You are careful to keep it that way. Level 7, the Inner Command. There are 41 people in the country who know what you know. Not exactly, not perfectly, but within proximity. The generals and party officials who sit on the National Defense Commission. The men who brief the supreme leader. The architects of doctrine. The people who receive the full picture, or something close to it. You are now one of them. The operations you oversee have no public names. Some have no written documentation at all. There are weapons programs and intelligence networks and financial structures that exist entirely outside the official apparatus. You understand now why certain foreign countries speak of North Korea in tones of genuine uncertainty. The uncertainty is intentional. The uncertainty is the strategy. Your value at this level is not execution. Others execute. Your value is judgment. You are consulted. You advise. You carry information about the military's true capabilities and true intentions in your head. And the weight of that information is something you feel physically. Trust has been replaced entirely by leverage. You don't trust the men you work with. You know what they've done, and they know what you've done, and this mutual knowledge is its own kind of bond. It is not warm, but it is durable. You watch a colleague fall, a 3-star general, 15 years your senior, someone who was untouchable 2 years ago. He misread something, or someone misrepresented him, or the calculus at the very top simply shifted in a way that made him expendable. It takes 72 hours. After that, you sit very still in your office for a long time, not with fear exactly, with a kind of cold clarity. You are not special. You are useful. Useful things are kept. Things that stop being useful are discarded. You think about this for 3 days. Then you make 3 phone calls and reaffirm 3 alliances and return to work.